Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday, which is Juneteenth, and a special edition of our show. We're devoting time throughout the hour to focus on a day where the nation truly marked the end of slavery. Whether you call it Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, or Jubilee Day, Juneteenth wears many names and is one of the most important anniversaries in our nation's history. June 19th marks the date enslaved people in Galveston, Texas were told they were finally free. Today, thousands of people across the nation gathered with their loved ones to celebrate the now national holiday.
The oral history of Juneteenth has been passed down for generations.
That oral history is now part of a federally recognized holiday.
All right.
One celebrated by Americans of all shades, ethnicities, and backgrounds.
Juneteenth is a day that celebrates the evolution of our country to a more perfect union.
Samuel Collins III, co-chair of the Juneteenth Project, tells me that evolutionary process wasn't easy. 2 years into the Civil War, on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing all slaves in Confederate states.
But there was a Battle of Galveston on January 1st, 1863, where the Confederate Army took back control of the port city, therefore delaying enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation.
2 years later, on April 9th of 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to the Union Army. Nearly 2 months later, on June 19th, Union Army Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston with thousands of Union soldiers to finally enforce the Emancipation Proclamation.
General Sheridan reports 75% of them were United States colored troops by January of 1866. Sheridan reports that he had 6,500 white soldiers in Texas, 19,768 black soldiers. They were freedom fighters, they were patriots, they were men that helped save this union and spread the message of freedom.
That day, Granger issued General Order Number 3, declaring all slaves in the state of Texas officially free and calling for absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property. The order ignited a celebration for all African Americans in the state.
They, of course, are jubilant. Now you can begin to legally get marriage license and start your families. You could, at the very least, just have self-agency of choosing where you want to live or go.
The freed men, women, and children celebrated in the streets. As word spread through the rest of the state, so too did the celebrations of what took place on that very special day of June 19th, or Juneteenth as it was called by the formerly enslaved Americans.
July 4th represents a freedom day for our country and the establishment of America. And June 19th is a freedom day for the former enslaved individuals.
And the celebrations will continue for years to come. Collins adds a common misconception surrounding Juneteenth is that slavery ended for the entire country that day, but in actuality, many slave owners refused to release their slaves until forced by Union soldiers. Other states, including Kentucky and Oklahoma, did not officially end slavery until months later. Now to your local news.